Korean speech level. What is Korean speech level? Have you guys heard about it before? I know some of you have already studied Korean before, so yeah, probably yes. Korean speech levels are really important for Korean learners. It's essential part, one of the essential part because, you know, it's because in Korean culture, respect and etiquettes are very important. So, as a foreigner, people will understand if you don't use correct speech levels, but it is very important if native Korean doesn't know how to use correct speech level, it will be considered as a very rude person or very mean person. So it is something really important in Korean language. What are speech levels? Speech levels shows respect towards the audience. It also reflects formality or informality of the situation or the sentence. So depending on the situation or depending on the relationship that you have with the audience, you have to choose the correct speech level. Okay, and as I said, it is something such important in Korean language, believe me. So as a beginner, you don't have to get too much stress about now doing this well, but if you start learning Korean and if you want to go to advanced level and if you want to start talking with we're Korean person, we're native Korean people, it is something really important. Okay, we have seven degrees of formality. So the first one is he, which is informal casual. So as you can see, there are some points that says informal and formal and casual, polite. Informal or formal, it's about the situation. If you're in a situation like with your friends or with your family member or someone really close to, or it's just informal situation, you can use informal speech level. And if you're in a formal situation, such as you're willing to speak in front of many people, or if you're in a work with your boss and things like that, in that case you have to use formal sentences. Okay, and casual and polite comes from if you want to talk to that person politely, or if you want to talk to that person casual. Like, it depends on the age of you and your friend or your audience, or it depends on the relations that you have between two people. Like, if you are a student and you're talking to your professor or teacher, you have to use polite speech level. Okay, here we have seven speech levels. First one is he, and next one is heyo. He and heyo both are for informal situations. So the difference between two of them is only because one is for the casual speech level and another one is for speak more polite. Okay, for example, I'm talking to my friend and my friend is the same age of me, or could be younger than me, or could be older than me. But in this case, I must have an agreement with, if it's older, that I can use casual speech level, because in Korea, ages are most important thing to choose which speech level to use. Okay, you can never use informal casual form to an older person unless you have already an agreement with the person. Okay, That is the basic, the most important thing. That's why maybe those who have watched Korean drama are familiar with this sentence. 나이가 어떻게 되세요? 나이가 어떻게 되세요? Which is how old are you? How old are you? We ask this question even if it's your first time meeting that person. I know that in English or many other culture is not correct to ask the age when you first meet person, right? But in Korean, yes, it is necessary in many cases because we have to decide which speech level to use. So these two levels are only for informal situation. So, for example, I'm with my family and I want to say something to my younger sister. I can use informal casual speech level. If I want to say something to my mom, which is older than me, and in that case, I can use informal polite speech level because we are in informal situation, but we have to choose which speech level to use. Okay. In the formal situations, we have more options here, but three of medium formal, and extremely formal and polite are not commonly used. So for first ones, including informal casual, informal polite, formal casual, formal polite, are normally used in Korean daily conversation. Okay, so formal casual is 한다, 한다채, 한다채. And formal polite is 합니다, 합니다채. So those two can be used in a formal situation, such as I'm going to work, I'm with my boss or my co-workers, and I can use 합니다채 to my boss, for example, formal polite. And formal casual can be used, normally it can be used, mostly is used for writing text, reports or things like that. Normally it's used in that cases. Okay, so I'm gonna show you about how to use them with some examples. All right, so I have two verbs here. So one is 하다, which means to do, 하다. And another one is 공부하다, to study, 공부하다. So if we put informal casual speech level in the verb 하다, it becomes 해. And if we put informal polite speech level to 하다 verb, it becomes 해요. So only the difference, as you can see, the difference is 해요. Yo comes after 해 in informal casual, informal polite cases. Okay. Same as for 공부하다 verb, it becomes 공부해 and 공부해요. 공부해요. My sister asked me, what are you doing? I can say 공부해, right? If my mom asks me, what are you doing? I can say 공부해요. Right? You see the difference? All right, so another speech levels that are normally used in daily conversations are formal casual and formal polite. So if we convert this 하다 verb, it becomes 한다, and it becomes 합니다 in polite speech level. Okay, so 한다, 합니다, 한다, 합니다. So in a formal situation, and you have to answer something, you can say 합니다 or 공부합니다. 공부하다 also becomes the same. 공부한다, 공부합니다. Right? You don't have to maybe if it's your first time learning Korean, it's difficult, I know. Just forget about it. You just need to remember that there is differences between speech levels, and speech levels are really important, and you have to choose which one to use. Okay, depending on the situation, depending on the relationship between you and your listener or your writer, your audience, right? So that's the most important thing. And there are 3 more speech levels: are 하오체, 하게체, 하소서체. Right? Those are medium formal and medium polite, and extremely formal, extremely polite. Those 3 are not very commonly used in a conversation these days. For example, 하소서체, which is the final one, extremely formal, polite. Those were very commonly used in so many years ago, not these days. So you can see these kind of speech levels only in K-dramas, something like those K-dramas talks about the history, and it has based on historical situation, things like that. You can hear those speech levels sometimes, but normally in recent Korean, you don't listen to those speech levels that much. But it's good to know. Yeah, it's good to know, and it's because you will not understand what it is if you don't know what it is, right? So 하오체, 하게체, 하소서체. 하오체, 하게체, 하소서체 are not very commonly used. Okay. So that's why in LingoDeer app, we only teach 4 speech levels that I mentioned: informal casual, informal polite, formal casual, formal polite. Those 4 are essential and enough for Korean learners. So in LingoDeer app, you can learn about one of them. Each of them has from different lessons and from different exercises. So 해요, 해, 한다, 합니다. Those are the ones that we teach in LingoDeer based on this conversation that I had before. 하오체, 하게체, 하소서체 are not commonly used.